education. Is that not bullying? Really? That's pretty low. What are we, like in primary school or?
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So we woke up this morning to a heap of messages saying, check out Anna SACCONE's Snapchat. She's gone on a rant about vegans. Can you please respond? And we will, but before we do, we just wanted to address Anna about a few things directly.
So first up, Anna, we want to actually thank you for providing like a platform for this discussion, because that's what you've done here. And I think it's really good. We think it's really healthy, and it's encouraging other people to learn more and to question more. So you're actually helping us spread the vegan message, whether you realize it or not.
And nobody hates you, Anna. We don't hate you. Vegans don't hate you. We do hate your actions, but we don't hate you.
It's not an us and you thing.
It's not vegans and non-vegans. It's not like that. In fact, we can relate to you very much. Up until the ages of 28, well, 29, we lived exactly the way you did in terms of eating meat, dairy and eggs, like 99.9% of the world. And it was only when we were 28 or 29 that we learned about vegetarianism for the first time, and we changed our ways.
So we actually have a lot in common, okay? We understand where you're coming from, we understand how you feel, we understand when people want to just put their head back in the sand and not take on board any of the information that we're giving. We get it, we've been there. So when we make a response video, it's not just directly to that one person, it's for everybody watching. Even if that one person that we're directing it to isn't going to take the information on board, everybody else has something to learn and take away from these videos.
So let's watch some of Anna's Snapchat story and respond.
So it seems like every single time I put up a What I Ate Wednesday video, the freaking vegan police are on my case. And I'm just sick of it. Like, I'm not vegan. I don't want to be. I don't agree with that lifestyle for me personally, but I wouldn't bully somebody else into doing the same kind of life or having the same kind of lifestyle as I have. Like, I would never go on some vegan's page and bully them in. Do you know what I mean? Like, since when is it okay to go on somebody's page and criticize the way they eat and try and bully them into eating the way you eat?
What would you ever go over to a vegan's page and criticize them about taking the life of a carrot? I mean, there's a reason why we take our children to pick strawberries and not to a slaughterhouse.
The vegan police are not bullying, Anna. They are raising awareness on your videos, your What I Eat videos, because they care. They actually give a shit about the animals that are having their lives taken to end up as your meals. They care about the environmental impact of those food choices. And in fact, it's not really a personal choice.
No, when you say, I don't agree with that lifestyle for me personally, what you're essentially saying is, my non-vegan lifestyle is my personal choice. When in actual fact, if it involves taking someone else's life, it ceases to be a personal choice. A personal choice is what color you wear your hair, how you want to dress yourself.
So I think we have to be very careful how we use the word bullying, because Anna's like trying to be the victim here, but the real victims are the animals. They're the ones that experience bullying.
And punching baby calves.
Veganism is a social justice movement. In fact, it's the most pressing social justice movement of our time, just like human slavery was 200 years ago. So if we go back then and we turn this around, imagine a slave owner saying, these abolitionists are bullying me. They're trying to convince me to give up my right to own slaves.
Now that sounds ridiculous to us today, but back then that was completely normal. And so let's say in 100 years time, if we actually make it that far, we will turn around and we will listen to these conversations of people saying, these vegans are bullying me and how dare they tell me that I shouldn't be eating animals. And we will be thinking the same thing in the future as what we think now about slavery 200 years ago. It's the same thing, just a different victim.
I just don't get it. Like, I don't hate vegans, but I feel like they hate me. I don't know why.
As we said at the beginning of the video, Anna, we don't hate you, we just hate your actions.
And I know their answer is going to be like, well, we're just trying to educate you. Well, I don't agree with what you're saying. Like, I don't agree with what you have to say. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about life.
So you think vegans are bullying you for telling you not to pay for someone else to stab an animal in the throat, but you have no problem mocking vegans about eat your education. Is that not bullying? Really? That's pretty low. What are we, like in primary school all of a sudden? You're mocking people who are actually trying to raise awareness about the suffering of others. What would you say to, I don't know, someone like Mother Teresa who's trying to raise awareness of other human beings, or Martin Luther King, or these other people who are raising awareness about human rights issues? It's all about education. Mother Teresa's all about kindness. Would you be saying that? Of course not.
Martin Luther King's all about justice.
Come on, this is pretty low.
And yes, it is about education, because that's where real change is made. It was education that made us turn from our former non-vegan lifestyles to our current vegan lifestyles. And that can be said for every current vegan who was formerly a non-vegan. The difference is education.
And I'm sorry, Anna, but you do agree with what we're saying. You agree with this very, very much. You and your husband, Jonathan, actually agree with us more than you think.
Dogs can't raise money themselves, and they need us humans to stand up for them. They can't say when they're unhappy, they can't say what's wrong. They only rely on us humans to look after them. So, do your best.
Yeah.
So Jonathan said, they need us to stand up for them.
That's what we're saying.
You're saying exactly the same thing as us. It's just that you're saying it about one species, where we're talking about all species.
Basically, if you agree that it is wrong to hurt animals,
Then you already agree with
me.
veganism.
You know, we're talking the same language.
You're advocating for dogs through education, and yet if your RSPCA ad was screened in China where they eat dogs, would you be bullying them with your education?
So it's kind of hypocritical to be thinking that vegans are bullying you when we're using education. You're doing exactly the same thing.
And this is why, just like we have collectively agreed that racism is wrong and sexism is wrong, for example, we need to collectively agree that speciesism is wrong, where we favour one species of animal over another species. And we need to respect all species equally, in that they all have the ability to suffer, and that is all that should matter.
Like, I love animals, but I also believe that we were put on this planet, like we were created to eat animals, and that is just life. It's nature. Animals eat other animals, you know what I mean?
All right, we're seriously scraping the bottom of the excuses barrel, okay?
You can't, to say that you love animals, but you're also going to pay people to kill them, that's like moral schizophrenia. That's cognitive dissonance. It just...
You're holding two different belief systems, okay?
Yeah.
Your beliefs and your actions, no. Just no. Animals do all kinds of things.
Lions lick their balls. They kill their young sometimes, you know.
They sleep outside naked. They do all kinds of things. They don't live in houses. They don't use ovens. They don't wear makeup. They don't wear clothes.
We don't live in nature. No. We live in a concrete jungle. We get in our SUVs, we drive to the supermarket, and we go to the aisle and get the pretty plastic wrapped packages of dismembered body parts that have all been cut up for us. If we were true carnivores, like you're trying to infer, or omnivores even, we would catch our own prey with our big claws and our huge canines, and we would rip into the flesh, and we'd eat the skin, and we'd eat the bones, and we'd eat the blood and the guts and the organs.
We don't
and all
do any
of it.
of that.
No.
So we cherry pick what kind of, characteristics we want to take from animals when it suits us. And it's important to remember that most animals do not eat other animals. Most animals actually eat plants. They're herbivores. So this is not life. Taking the life of someone else to put into our bodies is not life. In fact, it's taking our lives.
Our leading cause of death is heart disease. When a true omnivore eating its natural diet out in the wild develops heart disease, has a stroke, and develops type 2 diabetes, then we'll believe that we humans were created to eat animals.
So as it turns out, those vegan police are actually vegan detectives as well, which is pretty simple when your whole life's online. As it turns out, Anna, you were once vegetarian, so you didn't even believe what you're currently saying.
I've always been a really big animal lover, so I would feel so bad about eating animals, like I never wanted to. And I've been 2 months vegetarian now, and I have never been happier about my diet and what I'm eating, because I just feel like my conscience is clear. Like I don't feel like bad about it anymore. Now when I pass animals, like, you know, when you see animals being brought, transported in like trucks and things, that used to really upset me. It still upsets me, but I don't feel as bad anymore because I know that I'm not contributing to that. So I did it because of ethical reasons. That's the honest truth.
So Anna, what happened? When and why did you lose your compassion? From some of your viewers, we've heard that you went back to eating meat because your doctor advised that that's what you needed when you fell pregnant with your children, which of course isn't necessary at all because you can be vegan at any life stage, including pregnancy.
So we just don't understand what happened because you had made a very strong connection. Your words in this video were very powerful and beautiful. And although, yes, you were still contributing to the murder of animals through the egg and dairy industry, which is still very violent, but you were on the right path. But now you're like saying the complete opposite thing. So we just find this really strange, and it's like we know that you know. So you're not new to this. You've seen stuff, you've made that connection, you felt it in your heart, your conscience felt clean and good. Because
that's the essence of veganism.
Ever since I said I was doing this dairy-free thing, it's like the vegans have just jumped and they're like, so yeah, it's sad because I don't ever want to judge somebody, but vegans are making me judge them.
You can judge us, that's fine.
We're all judging each other. It's called critical thinking. Judgment is a necessary human characteristic.
And we're all judging each other, okay? People come on our channel and say, stop judging people. Well, you're judging us for judging others, all right? It's just a normal human trait.
And it's necessary for our evolution as a species.
Yes, that's right. We're all kind of pushing each other up to say, hey, raise the bar a little bit.
Let's make better moral choices.
Now, you don't have to like us, Anna. You can hate us personally. You can hate all vegans. That's fine. Just stop hurting animals. That's
all
main
anyone
message.
is asking you to do.
Yeah.
Vegans jump at this opportunity because they realise that without the multi-billion-dollar budgets of the meat, dairy and egg industries, if we can reach somebody like you with over 1 million impressionable subscribers, if we can influence you positively and then you can influence that huge audience, that has the same effect as if we had a multi-billion-dollar advertising budget.
It's not every vegan. Like, there's so many out there that are totally normal, but then there's just this few that are just so psycho. And
psycho? When a child is observed hurting an animal, that is the first sign that they have psychological problems. And yet somehow, as adults, we act as psychopaths 3 times a day, every time we take out our wallet to pay someone to kill for meat, dairy and eggs.
And yet, we think the real psychos are those over here saying, no, don't do that. Don't stab that animal in the throat. Don't take her baby away. Don't
mutilate them. Don't torture them. Don't confine them. Don't exploit them. Don't stab them in the throat.
How is it psycho to stand up for the victims in a violent situation? It's not normal to stand by and not say anything when you're witnessing violence. If you were the victim, you would want someone to stand up and say, look, you need to stop doing that. If there was a domestic situation next door to where you live, in the neighbor's house, and you're listening to this woman being beat up, would you not knock on the door? Would you not call the police? Would that be psycho behavior to actually intervene and be worried about the safety of that victim?
If someone plucked up one of your dogs and wanted to stab it in the throat, would you want someone to speak up and to intervene and stop that person?
That's
or would they be a psycho if they intervene?
That's all vegans are doing.
And trying to force other people to have the same lifestyle as them when it's not going to suit everybody. Like, how can you not accept that? I don't understand.
What we don't understand is how can you not understand that the world we live in is a global community? Unless you live on planet Anna, your food choices affect everybody.
Absolutely. I mean,
everybody.
When eating animals is linked to 14 of the 15 leading causes of our death, burdening the healthcare system that all taxpayers have to fund, your food choices affect everybody. When animal agriculture is the leading cause of environmental destruction on the planet that we all inhabit, it affects everybody.
I mean, we've said this before in a previous video to you. You have children. So we're trying to raise awareness for the world that your kids are going to live in. Do you not care about whether they're going to have clean water to drink? Because the wars of the future are going to be over water and resources, food. Right?
And
it's going to get ugly.
Exactly. And if we have fishless oceans by 2048, if the oceans die, we die.
Children born today will not reach retirement age. What part of that do people not understand? This is serious.
This is literally life and death. This is not just, your lifestyle choices as if it was like a fashion statement or what have you.
What I wear or what, it's so much more than that. This is not watching the bloody Kardashians on TV. This is freaking real stuff here. We are going down as a species, and we're taking all life on this planet with us, and it's not okay. Now, if you think it's normal to sit back and not bring awareness to that, well, that's bloody insane. I mean, I feel like we're living in a Willy Wonka chocolate factory, and everything's upside down and inside out, and caring is bullying, and
it's very Orwellian, isn't it?
It is. Have you watched the movie or read the book 1984 by George Orwell, where everything is turned upside down and back to front, and it's doublespeak?
So this dairy-free thing that I'm doing is for my skin, and I'm not going vegan. I just want to make that very clear.
We know you're not going vegan, Anna. We're just hoping that you'll go plant-based, because veganism is more than just about what you eat. Veganism is an understanding that animals were not put here for us to eat, wear, or use for any purpose.
Also seems like there's a lot of doctors and skincare professionals and experts on my video too.
So you make a video saying that you're depressed that at age 28 you still have acne and you need to sort this out. And then you show yourself eating burgers and deep fried french fries and cheesecake, and you think that's going to work. And just because you maybe kind of might almost sort of take out dairy for almost 2 weeks.
But not really.
And then you have people saying, hey, Anna, follow people who are getting the results that you want, and you're mocking that? Even though we used plant-based doctors with evidence saying this is what the answer is, and you're mocking that because we're not specialists, because we're not doctors, but people are trying to help you out?
I mean, take a doctor that is overweight or obese, or a dietitian for that matter. Just because they are qualified to give advice, would you take their dietary advice? No, you wouldn't. You'd prefer to take advice from people getting the results that you desired, whether or not they held the piece of paper that certified them to give that advice.
And this happened with us. We suffered with many health problems for years. In particular, I had asthma, Luca had candida. We went to doctors and specialists for years. What did they do? Drugs, 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 drugs.
And where did we find the answer ultimately? On vegan YouTubers' channels.
Because we started following people who had the results that we wanted, not pieces of paper.
So, I just want to say, this is my life. This is me. This is how I am. I am not perfect. I have many flaws, and I do things wrong sometimes.
This is not how you are. This is how you're choosing to be.
Veganism is not about being perfect. Perfection is impossible. Veganism is about not hurting animals as far as is practicable and possible. And when we pay people to hurt animals for meat, dairy, and eggs that we consume up to 3 times a day, we're not just doing something morally wrong sometimes, we're doing things that are morally wrong all the time.
I just don't understand why people have to criticize like every single teeny tiny thing that I do.
Stepping an animal in the throat and taking its life is not a teeny tiny little thing. It's a very big thing. It's a very big, violent, terrible thing. And you're receiving this attention because of the size of your platform, Anna. You are more than 10 times the size of our tiny channel.
YouTube is the new television. We are all influencers here, and the bigger our audience, the larger our responsibility. So, when you're saying, oh, these chicken thighs are yummy, then when your viewers are walking down the supermarket aisle next and they're saying, oh, what will I have for dinner? And they see the chicken thighs, they're going to remember Anna saying, oh, they're yummy. Oh, yeah, I might try them tonight. We know this because we ourselves, we eat a nice tasting oatmeal and mango breakfast, and we have our viewers from all over the world sending us snaps and Instagrams saying, that vegan couple inspo and inspired and what have you. We have a reach. Our life is our message. Our actions are our message, and they are being followed. So Anna, we urge you to reconnect with your former self, your vegetarian self from 4 years ago, and reconnect with those feelings that you had at that time that ran very deep. And ask yourself, would you have spoken to your former vegetarian self the way you've spoken about vegans in your recent Snapchat rant?
Go back to that time when you were better aligning your love of animals with your food choices, and ask yourself, where and why did your compassion go? Share these thoughts and feelings with your audience.
We'd love to hear. And to our audience, help us make sure that Anna does see the video by sharing it with her. Her social media is linked below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, until next time, that going vegan is not the most we can do.
It's the absolute least we can do. See you next video.
Bye, guys.
Eating this way, the acne ain't going anywhere. This is not the diet that you want.